Hello, Mark Crossfield here. It's the day after the Masters 2013. For any of you watching the video now, any of you watching the video in the future, this was the day this video was filmed. So we're going to do a weekly fix based a little bit around the Masters. Got a question of the week and golf talk based a little bit more around what happened at Augusta. Same amount of swings to do through the app, so loads to do. It stopped raining at last. Let's get stuck in. So first swing, practicing inside, great way of swinging. Swing looks a little long, can't tell from the camera angle, but it looks a little long. You could just try and swing your arms back a little less on the backswing, but we see a very big fall with the club out in front of that hand plane. So we see the club tumbling out in front of the hand plane and then swinging very much to the left. Simple drill here to try and help you swing a little bit more to the target. So practicing indoors, great way to practice. Really good to see you putting the time in. Thanks for sending the swing. We need to get you swinging a little bit more towards target. You are swinging very much with the club falling out in front of you and then into the left on the way through. So the shaft of the plane, as I said in other videos, is coming down much steeper than the hand plane, then falling to the left. Got a swing stick here. I'm just going to pop it on my left side. Take a grip halfway down it. Normal backswing, downswing, I'm going to try and point the cane out towards my hitting area, so down by where my ball would be, and then bring it down onto my left side, turning slightly through. For you, slightly steepening the plane of the cane in relationship to the hand plane, you're going to find it one that digs into your left leg, much more comes to it, a butt end of this stick comes towards you, so great way of just feeling that shaft, just flattening off on the way down. You could even do some, try and push it where you feel like the shaft points over your hitting area, bring it down, and then bringing it back on to your left side. Try the same thing with the club. You can even hold the club the way down, point the button of the club where your hitting area where the ball would be, bringing it back onto your left side. Get out of this habit of naturally changing that plane, turning your hands, rotating your forearms to bring the club down steeper than your hand plane and then swinging so far to the left. You'll hit better shots, you'll hit straighter shots. Thanks for sending. So on this swing we see a pretty funky movement with the wrist. We see you really starting to open the club face up. Get a lot of funkiness going on in your hands in relationship to the face. The face at the top of your backswing is remarkably open to where it should be. We need to get you thinking about your wrists in a very different way to try and get you hitting some better shots. I mean, look at where you're trying to attack the ball from, so much from the other side to the outside of the ball back to the left to try and counteract this wrist. Amazing movement with the wrist there. I mean, that's one of the most pronounced ones I've seen. So we're seeing you go back and rolling the wrist this way, turning the face up to the top. So simple drill for you. It's simple in theory, but hard to do for you because it'll be the opposite to what you're doing. Hold on with your left hand, take the club up over your right shoulder, trying to get the back of your left hand, so my Mizuno pad on my glove here, pointing more up to the sky, so up into the corner of the room here. For you, you are rotating the Mizuno logo out almost to the camera lens. So we need you feeling like you're turning that wrist to you, which will feel away from you on the backswing. Get a feeling for working the club face that way, working the wrist that way. Don't think about the downswing, just hit the ball from there. If you still find that's not working for you, you might need to think about that wrist, turning it back of the left hand up to the corner of that room. And then on the downswing, feel like you're keeping it back there. Don't let it simply fold back the other way like you were before. So what I see people do often is they correct the wrist on the way back through the instruction, then as they take the club down to hit the ball, they just put the angle that feels comfortable for them, so that wrist bending that way again, back in. So try and keep that wrist feel like it's bending backwards more during your swing. Do that, you're going to hit straighter shots, you're going to control the face. If you control that face a bit better, I think you'll find you'll control the path of the club a lot better and you'll hit some better shots. So interesting one here. If we watch the shot, you'll see it cuts, the ball is moving off to the right here. Doesn't look very happy. Now that is what I would call, to me, looks like a Healy cut. So it looks like you're hitting the ball at the heel of the club, and that's giving it the fade, the cut, the slice spin. So rather than thinking about your club pass and what have you, which often people who are fading and cutting the ball will do, I want you to think about your body position. Try and get out of hitting the heel of the club so much. You can see this tuck under with the hips and thrust forwards here. That's moving you closer to that ball, which is going to make hitting the heel very, very easy. So what we're seeing And I'd like you to email me and let me know what you think. Just put a comment on the video or on Facebook or Twitter. Tell me you're the person in the video with the Healy cut. Put some face tape on your club and mark out, have a look where you're actually striking the ball. That shot definitely moves, kind of starts off straight and cuts off to the right. It looks much more strike based, starts quite low, like you've not struck it very well. So I get lots of people who swing the club okay at the ball, if you like, so their angles are pretty good. They're not hitting with an open face to the path and across the ball, those kind of things to get their cut. Often they're playing pretty decent angles, but they can't hit the middle of the bat. So they catch it out the heel, and that gives it the gearing effect to the middle of the ball, which gives it the cut spin off them. Now for you, we see a massive early extension, pushing forwards of your hips, thrusting as you hit the ball, moving your club a little bit that side of the ball, which makes the Healy cut quite easy. So for you, I want you to hit a few shots where you feel like you're trying to set your posture nice and good at the start, but as you come in to hit the ball, feel like your hips are almost pushing back as they open up. So almost feel like my hips are moving back that way as I hit the ball. And then also relate that to your strike. See if you can push your hips back to feel a few strikes off the toe of the club, the other side, and see what that does to the shape of your shot. Because for me, your swing is pretty good. There's some good movements in there. There's an aggressive movement into the ball to try and really get up on your toes and push into it. I'd like you to try and make a few downswings where you feel like you sit back a little bit more and rotate. See if you can move the strike a bit more away from the heel, and I think you'll find you'll hit some better shots. Thanks for sending. So question of the week, golf talk here, are going to be the same things this week, because we've got a question here. Hi Mark, is the controversy over Tiger's drops regarding the line of entry of hazards or the fact that he moved back 2 yards? I'm sure Jim Furyk said he moved his drop back to get a full shot after he went into the water too. So let's talk about his drop a little bit here. Now I have got some pictures. Let me just grab some pictures here, which I did myself. So let's just get some pictures up. So they're not arguably the best pictures in the world, but hopefully this will explain what happened a little bit for you. So if we take the very funny first picture, where are you? Let me get the first picture. You're in here. Here we go. Okay, so this is the first picture here of Tiger in his hat hitting his first shot. Okay, so his third shot into the 15th. What happens, he hits his shot and the ball hits the flag, as you can see there, and splashes back in the water. So he now has some options to drop. He can use the point of entry, so POE, point of entry, keep that point in the flag in a line and go back as far as he likes. He can use the drop zone, or he could play the ball where it lies, which is impossible. Or he can go back to as close as he can to the spot where he played the original shot again and drop the ball and play again. Now that's what he opted to do. He opted to go back to the original shot, there it is, and drop the ball. And what he did is he dropped the ball, and it's funny because there's some new photos come out since all the talk where people are saying that he actually dropped the ball very close. So he dropped the ball, played his shot. Someone phones in and says he dropped it in the wrong place. He went back. He should have dropped it to the same point. So what happens is the Masters Committee review the situation. They look at it that evening, talk about it, review it, look at it, and they say the drop was fine. Then Tiger goes on and does a press conference where he says he moved back 2 yards to try and not hit the flag again, to adjust the distance slightly. So he is now admitting that he's done, inadvertently, he's admitting that he's dropped it in the wrong place. Now, we can use opinion. So my opinion is he didn't try and cheat. He tried to gain an advantage in his drop. But I think he's still trying to keep the point of entry, which he's forgotten it's coming from the other angle because he hit the flag and went back, which is the oddness of this shot. If it had just gone in the water on the line flag but short, like most balls do go in the water, like Furyk's did, which is why he did go further back, you can use point of entry and go back as far as you like. So he can choose to go back the 2 yards and hit the shot, which is what he did. So he's kind of confusing a couple of the options. And then the biggest thing that happened here, which everyone's confused about, is that he has been reviewed by the committee that evening, and they have decided that the drop was fine, because the drop does look, if you look on certain camera angles, very close to where his original shot was played. You've got to imagine there's a lot of divots there. He's got to find that divot again. But then he's admitted a different intent in the evening, and that's then being used by the camera and the media's presentation of the event, because that is a media event. He is saying this information. So again, if we go back to opinion, you can have opinion if he was disqualified or not. Arguably, yes, he should have been disqualified. But the point of this is, for me, and I think you guys should try and work on this as well, is that the committee's decision is the decision, and then you just go on and play. As Butch Harmon kept saying, which I agree with, he didn't agree with the committee's decision. That was the decision. Let's play ball. Basically, what he's saying there is, let's just play golf. You know, this guy didn't try and intentionally cheat. He made a mistake. He's been punished for his mistake with 2 shots. It might not be the right decision, but it's the decision. So this is the Masters, this is golf, it's bigger than all these things, this will blow over. Let's just get on and play and get a result. So the opinions are interesting. The opinions have got to be based more on the fact that Tiger's not really done anything wrong. He's made a mistake and he's just gone in and tried to tell everyone what he's done. And then the committee have chosen to use a certain ruling or not. So it's the committee's choice you've got to argue with rather than Tiger's decision to drop the ball. I don't think he was kind of sneakily trying to drop it in a different place. I mean, he knows the world is watching him. You haven't probably got a golfer in the world that people don't watch more than him. So for his possibilities to cheat are just minuscule on the golf course. So look, the drop was done because it's a confusing one, I think, because it hit the flag and came back in at a different angle. The drop is, so I didn't even get that, because I didn't actually see the shot. I just heard people talking about it the next morning, and then I had to go back and look, and I was thinking, what's the problem? You can go back as far as you like on point of entry if he's hit it in the water. But obviously I didn't see the shot and see that he entered in a different place, which now I've been seeing all the footage, I understand. The question is more if you agree or not with the committee's decision. I think the question about him disqualifying himself is a strange one. I mean, that would be almost disrespectful to the Masters Committee, really. So I'm not sure if I agree with Mr. Faldo's comments, but as I think we know, Mr. Faldo doesn't mind a little bit of media attention himself, does he? So, you know, his outspoken statements are his own, and that's fine, and he's entitled to them, and they're good. You know, creates more conversation. But the drop is very simple. It was just made more complicated by him coming in from a different angle, I would say. And then the decision is based around the complexity of the world watching and the media watching. I hope this helps kind of explain a little bit what happened. Let me know, post comments down below. I know there'll be massive opinions on this. I'd love to hear. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll speak to you all soon. Okay, good swing here. Seeing a bit of the old junior hips again. See this a lot. Downswing hips. And just look how far ahead those hips are. Right foot. Oh, it's giving me backache just looking at that. Let's see if we can get your hips coordinating a little bit more with the rest of your swing. So we see this quite a lot, don't we? And it's always from young players, so people who are able to even do this movement. So we see the hips kind of move way ahead of the rest of the body. Have you seen from my other videos, you need your lower half stabilising into impact. So the actual amount of a kind of aggressive hip turn happens in such a small period of time. We're talking kind of from top of my backswing with the club. Well, hips have already gone before the club gets there, but let's say my hips are literally moving that much at speed, so the club comes down a few clicks of your camera, a few frames, before they start slowing down. The rest of the opening up of my hips comes from me now slamming my shoulders through, which opens my hips up a bit more, then pushing that club through, which then lets my hips open a tiny bit more. So the actual hip drive is very small, and lots of it is even happening before the club's even got to the top of the backswing. So for you, we see hips that just don't want to stop. They just keep going and going and going and going and going. So from the down, the whole downswing is the hips driving through. Then we see this quite crumpled impact position where you're a bit in your own way and the right arm doesn't want to release. So I want you just to try a few shots where you actually feel like you slow your hips down. Keep your arms swing fast, keep your arms swinging, keep this club swinging, try and put some pressure on the handle, feel like you're pulling the handle quite hard, but just keep your hips out of it. So to you, hit a few shots where you try and keep your feet flat on the ground until after impact. They won't be. For you, you will have cleared left side and all those things. You will have transferred weight. Your right foot will be coming up. But you want the feeling of keeping your feet more connected with the ground as you hit the ball, and that you're swinging your arms a bit faster. Just need to try and get your hip turn, shoulder turn, hand and club movements a little bit more in sequence, rather than having your hips moving so far ahead of the rest of the game, which will make coordinating the face and the strike harder. Great swing though, thanks for sending. Lots of good movements in there. Just need to get those hips in time with the rest of it. Thanks for watching. So if you like what's going on here, don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Also thumbs up the video, post comments. Love to hear what you guys got to say. Let's keep it social. The more we talk, the more we share, the easier this game will get for everybody. So if you want to find me on Facebook here, you can find me on Facebook. If you want to tweet me, find me on Twitter here as well. Just follow the links, all in the description. Come and join the show. Get active, get involved, get playing some better golf. Thanks for watching.